I have an example and I have a story I'd like to share that fast forward, we've taken the off ramp. We are, kind of coming into, what was a rough period of change, but settling into, things are going to be okay. Our son is healing. He's doing great. I'd say about a year after, we had rolled back the social transition, I had a friend reach out to me. And I hadn't heard from her in a while because of COVID, but her son was now about 5 years old. And she said, I want to talk to you because I want to hear about your experience with your transgender daughter because my son has now told me he's a girl. So she reached out to me. We invited her over to our backyard, her and her husband. She's sitting breastfeeding her baby. And we basically said, there is no such thing as wrong think in this backyard. Okay. And we asked her to tell us what had happened. And what had happened is that her son, and this just sends chills down my spine, he made almost the exact declaration that mine had. Call me girl. He said, Mama, I have a boy body and a woman brain. And he had started to be, call me girl. Now, what happened in that moment for this friend, she immediately was, could my son be transgender? Of course. Well, what do I need to do to support him? You could almost physically see her putting him up and putting herself down. Like, I will do whatever is needed for this person that I'm now disconnected from. He is in this category of transgender child, potentially. So I must do what is best for him. And it turns out his kindergarten teacher had 2 transgender daughters. So my friend goes to the teacher and says, my son is expressing that he wants to be a girl. And that teacher was ready, trigger point ready, to socially transition this child in her class and was reaching out as my friend then said, oh, hold on, I'm not ready yet. I'll get back to you. The teacher was following up because the child was expressing this in the classroom and it was causing some tension. So my friend, her husband, sat in the backyard. We talked the whole thing through and they walked away. Just basically, I said, stop asking him. You stop putting him in the lead. You know what is best. And you reclaim that authority in your relationship. Yes. And she did. And he stopped saying it within a few days. But you can just imagine, we did something different with that declaration. And it led us to 3.5 years of social transition. And she turned it in a different direction. And it led to her son, quote unquote, desisting within days. And I can tell you there's something with 4-year-old boys. There is something with 4-year-old boys. Because I know 7 boys at this point that around that age of 4 or 5 started to express a cross-sex identity. And out of those 7, my son, 1, we had socially transitioned, but now we're off. But there's another one who is now on puberty blockers. The others, the parents didn't social transition, and they have all desisted from saying this. But I think there is a vulnerability for these 4-year-old boys in our current culture with the parents, with the institutions. I think there's something developmental there that we don't totally understand.
It's an amazing story of child suggestibility and malleability and what happens when a psychological theory puts kids in the driver's seat.
Right.
Because they don't understand the ramifications that they're signing up for. They don't realize they're on a conveyor belt towards being a medical patient forever.
Yeah. Exactly. They cannot comprehend it. And that is why it's our responsibility, not theirs.
It's our job to be the authority, the teachers, the parents.